Hey, good morning, Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland area, all the way to South Bend, down south to Rensselaer. We're reaching out here from Veterans Views Radio Show, award-winning radio show, 17 years strong. My name is Robert Rockwell, and our co-host here, Donna Ostrander.
Good morning.
Good morning, Donna. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Rocky?
Good, good. So we got Commander Ostrander, and I am now the 2 for Post 66. So, that's quite a new transition to me for some leadership, and the second vice position is very involved with planning. Anyways, we are both veterans, and Donna is a Marine, once a Marine,
Hoorah.
always a Marine, and I am a Chief Warrant Officer for the U.S. Army. We've both been around the world a little bit, and we are here today in great, beautiful Hammond, Indiana, in the bunker is what we call this at WJOB, and no one's going to breach our front doors here because
That's right.
That's right. We have high levels of security here to make sure that we get the information out to the Joes and the Josephines out there, all the men and women, citizen soldiers, and current and former service members, to make sure that we are up to speed with the current events and benefits and everything that we can bring to you here on Veterans Views Radio. We consistently have good guests, and we have sponsors that help support our show and keep us alive this past 17 years. They are the true benefactors of allowing the region to have our news and to keep us running. They give us, donations to make sure that we stay on the radio show. Donna's going to go over just a few of them, and we'll finish them up towards the end of the show here today.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
We can do a couple of them.
Yeah. Okay, I can do a couple of them. We got Calumet Breweries, 6535 Osborne Avenue in Hammond. You can reach them at 219-845-2242. We have Calumet Park and Funeral Chapel, 2305 West 83rd Avenue. You can call 219-769-8803 for special veteran savings on complete burial packages. DAV Chapter 17, they meet the first Thursday at 7 o'clock at 5820 Holman Avenue in Hammond. DAV 80 meets the second Friday of every month at 13050 Washington Street in Cedar Lake. You can call them at 219-386-2282. And Laborers International Union of North America, 41. They are at 500 Superior Street in Munster. And you can reach them at 219-924-7922.
Yeah, and Calumet Park Cemetery just did a wonderful representation for Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
They do that solid every single year, and thank you and kudos to them, long-term supporters of our show. And then, of course, DAV Chapter 17, our co-host Steve Bramer, that's not here today. He is the commander of that. And then I believe John Rodriguez, the famous local legend that gets so many people facilitated with their VA disability, is a member
Absolutely.
of DAV Chapter 80. So we do appreciate all your contributions to the show and keeping us going. I just seen them last week. Steve was there on Friday and over there in Lake Station, so he announced it on the show. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna swing by and get an update.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that, like, we were there before.
Yeah.
When you show up at the beginning, you're going to wait a few hours.
Yeah.
And when I see people show up at like 3:30 and get right in line and they've been there for 5 minutes, I'm a little jealous. So that's, not to give a recommendation of what time to show up when you need to. But I think in the future, I'm showing up at like 3:30 instead of sitting around for 5 hours. But it's all worth it in the end, and you need to go out there and get what you deserve as far as your veterans benefits. If you served in the military and had any sort of complications during your time, or if seen complications after your time in service, then you will deserve compensation for that, and utilizing the VA disability rating chain to get yourself some you get VA benefits right away.
Oh, absolutely. And even if you don't think, when I first went to mine and he brought up my record on his computer, And I was like, oh, I forgot about that. And oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what is in your, because it was so long ago when I served, and seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
But, stuff comes up that you may have forgotten about.
Yeah,
so
for sure. And
it's definitely worth looking into.
I tell you, I've been in 17 years and almost 18 now, and now pushing for the last couple. The change from the beginning of my career till now, it used to really be, I mean, that was, in the 2000s during the Iraq, Afghanistan conflicts, wars, that if you got injured, it's like Charlie Mike, continue mission,
Yeah.
And get up and go, like
Right.
walk it off. And if you go to, you're a sick call warrior, it's kind of frowned upon, right? Like
Right.
first sergeant will get in your butt if you're,
absolutely.
they call it malingering.
Yep.
And they would throw that word around like, you're not sick. And there was a time I was so sick that I had to have, I was lower enlisted, I had to E5, take my pants off because I couldn't even take my pants off because I was overheating. I was so sick. And the NCOs that were in charge of me at the time, like, would not let me go.
Wow.
Until I was like, listen, if you don't let me, I'm calling an ambulance.
Yeah.
Like, I literally think I'm going to die out here. And finally, after I said that, because when you're a private or specialist or whatever, like, you don't have much of a voice.
No, you have no voice, really.
And that's one of the tough things with some of these old veterans, when they were privates or specialists, they'd seen some stuff or they've been through some stuff and where they got injured or mental problems or whatever. And you're just drilled into you in the old days.
Yeah.
You're not sick. You're fine. Continue mission.
Yeah.
And they still carry that on with them. And then they don't go to these organizations like the DAV.
It's hard to ask for help. And,
it is.
And then you have on the one, on the one side, you have the hard chargers who keep going, like you said, regardless of whether they're hurt or injured or sick. And then you have the ones who go to sick call because they have a hangnail.
Oh, yeah.
We had a guy like that in one of my platoons at one time who went to sick call almost every day. And, I could not wait for this guy to get transferred or discharged or something. Because those kind of guys bring morale down, too.
Oh, 100%. Because you're picking up their workload.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's a fine line between making sure you need to take care of what you need to take care of.
Right, right.
And malingering, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and as you pick up more rank, you have to make those decisions on if this person is, really sick or, and now it's all touchy feely stuff. So okay, you cough, so I have to let you go.
Yeah.
So just take your butt to the where you get your cough. Just go buy some NyQuil and deal with it.
PX, yeah.
The PX, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
Take your butt to the PX and buy some NyQuil and get over it,
Yeah, so we have a story that we wanted to talk about to get us kicked off here today, and it's very interesting, goes back to the days of COVID, and I'm, of course, a Chief Warrant Officer 2, and soon to be a 3. Now, to put that into perspective in the Army, at least, it's a little different in the Navy, and it's similar in the Marines.
Yeah.
But to become a Chief Warrant Officer in the Army, you have to first, initially, unless you're a pilot, you have to first be an NCO. You have to be a non-commissioned officer. So you have to have years of experience in leadership and in your MOS. Okay, so I had just promoted to E7, a Sergeant First Class, before I went to be a CW1.
Wow.
Well, it's called WO1. It's a Warrant Officer 1 in the Army. You're not a chief until you're a 2, at least. But basically, you take that experience and you apply it towards an officer role. Okay, so now I'm a CW2. Now, to become a CW2, you have to be a W1 for 2 years.
Okay.
So I was an E7 at 13 years.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, and then I was a W1 for 2 years, put me at 15. So next year will be third year. Next year will be third or fourth year as W2. And it takes, from W2 to W3, it takes 4 years.
Oh, okay.
From W3 to W4, 5 years.
Okay.
And then from W4 to W5, 5 years. So you don't see W5s often unless they're pilots and started right away.
Okay.
Because you can go warrant as a pilot right away.
Okay.
A Black Hawk pilot or whatever.
Okay.
And again, you don't see these W5s most of the time unless they've been in 30-something years. W5s are are rare.
Very rare, yeah.
Yeah, and there's only a certain amount of slots for them up top, right? Because they're like in charge of their entire MOS at that point when you're a W5. So I wanted to just break down for our listeners out there what you're about to get into with this news, and just relay to them in the U.S. Army how hard it is and how rare it is to get that high level on the Chief Warrant Officer side.
Yeah, so we have Chief Warrant Officer 5, Kenny Kelly. He was reinstated to the U.S. Army with full back pay and benefits just recently. He refused to take the COVID vaccine. Him, along with about 8,700 active duty service members, were in voluntary discharge from the military for refusing the vaccine. The mandate was enforced between August 2021 and January 2023. Most of them were discharged with either honorable or general discharges. So when they were given the general honorable discharges, they could not access the GI Bill. I did not know that. They've been eligible to pursue reinstatement, and separated personnel have the opportunity to have their records and benefits adjusted. So there was also another woman in the Navy who just got reinstated with full benefits and back pay.
Wow.
So I think it's wonderful that they're starting to do this. And, I'm kind of torn on this because on the one hand, we've all been given vaccines and we had no idea what was in them. Back when I went overseas, I felt like a pincushion.
Oh, yeah.
They're just jabbing you with all kinds of stuff. And I thought I was done after boot camp. When you walk down that line and they have the two pistols.
Yeah.
And you have those two pistols and they jab you in each arm and with the air and you have no idea what you're getting. And you know better than to ask.
Right.
You don't ask what you're getting. So listen, if you want to call in and talk about this, call in at 219-845-1100.
Yeah, and I'll say, so I was in, obviously, during that COVID period, and I had to take COVID shot mandated, and then I had to take the booster. I think I took 3 of them.
Wow.
Which every time I got sick. But, yeah, it was mandatory, and at the time I was transitioning into a warrant officer, so I wasn't really going against the grain. I wanted to progress my career.
Yeah.
Number one, I'll say that CW5 that got reinstated, imagine he got discharged in 2021 as a CW5 and then is now getting back pay all the way into mid-2026. Like, that dude is literally about to get a check for like $500,000.
Yeah.
If he is active duty, because a W5...
I think he was a pilot.
A W5 active duty member, they make, I would say, a minimum $150,000 a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody made a comment on the post. They're like, "Oh, his unit didn't even know he was missing because nobody's ever seen a CW05."
Yeah.
So, I think that it's important too. Like I said, now there's information coming out. During the first Gulf War, so many, my spouse included, were given this anthrax virus. They were lined up in formation and forced to take it.
Oh yeah. I've taken like 5 of them. And
now there's information that I was just reading about today about there was something in some of those vaccines, and they have the lot numbers. I have the lot numbers, and they have the lot numbers, which we can read. But anyway, they were talking about how there was some kind of contamination in some of those. And so you can file a claim for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to find my lot number.
Yeah, I'll have to. It should be on your shot record somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And so I think that's really interesting, and I've said this before, is that they like to experiment on us. They like to give us stuff and let's give it to the military. Let's see how they react.
Yeah, let's give it to them first. And they've done that for history.
They've done that for a long time to us, like to experiment. And,
So one thing they told me with the anthrax shot is that there's actually natural anthrax in the dirt in the Middle East. So like if you're digging a hasty or something, like you could potentially be exposed to it in small limits. And obviously that's why, like, while you're out in the Middle East, it's mandatory that like every 6 months you take another booster anthrax. But periodically throughout my career, I've taken 5.
Okay.
5 different anthrax shots, and they hurt.
Yeah.
For a day or two. So it's obviously poison.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I always tell people I'm either gonna live to be 100 years old because of all the stuff they stuck in me, or I'm
All
gonna
the preservatives.
I'm gonna die of something crazy when I'm like 45.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, back in the 80s, I had never even heard of anthrax before.
Yeah.
So I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, what's anthrax? And she's like, that's a disease you get from sheep, because that's what she thought it was. And I'm like, well, there's no sheep in the Middle East. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess there are.
Yeah.
There's a joke in there, but we won't touch that.
Well, I'll say this, for years, the military's just been forced to take whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden, and I guess from the rollout of the FDA quick approval of this, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but people refuse to take the COVID shot.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of put things into perspective, like how quickly did these, and I'm not talking bad about anything, I'm just trying to compare apples to apples, how quickly these GLP-1 shots spread all over the place, and people are totally okay with putting that in their body. So well,
those have been around for a while, but for a different reason.
Yeah,
for
right.
Diabetes
for diabetes and stuff.
Yeah.
But now they're literally prescribing them for weight loss, and it's like, well, I don't know. If you're really so anti-vax or whatever your position is on it, but you're totally okay with putting this GLP-1, you don't know the long-term effects of that.
Right.
Just like your argument is, I don't know the long-term effects of COVID shot, COVID vaccination. Sure, nobody does. Was it right or wrong? A lot of people had a lot of issues from that.
Yeah.
Well,
my thing with the vaccines and everything is the vaccine court, because vaccine makers are not on the hook if something happens. If somebody dies from their shot or their pill or whatever, we are as taxpayers. They go to this vaccine court, and if something is found bad or wrong with the vaccine, then the American taxpayers pay that. So there's no incentive for the drug manufacturers to make sure their vaccine is actually what they say it is, or to do the trials correctly or stuff like that. That's my biggest problem.
I don't know exactly how that works, but I'd imagine that once the FDA has approval, there's a bit of liability on that, and this, a federal organization.
Yeah, but there's no liability to the manufacturer.
But I know that there is litigation currently for one of these. The big three was Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and what was the other one? Moderna. Yeah, there's been litigation against them for the reactions of the.
I think COVID is the exception.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I would have to do some more research on that, but I know the vaccine court was started in the 80s under Reagan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. All right, so I think we have one caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on Veterans Views.
Hi, good morning, guys. Joey Payan, how are you?
Hey, Joey.
When I went in the 70s, the only way we knew it was a shot day is, you'd see the guys walking around with the lab coats at the table and, we know it's coming, and, don't bother putting the shirt on and just stand there, They had the pneumatic guns, one on each side, and, ready step, and, what do I get? And, it's good for you. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's good for you.
Yep, exactly.
So, But anyway, I'm calling because I'm looking for volunteers again this Saturday, tomorrow, to help us pick up the flags that we put out last Saturday over at the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. The address is 3815 West 39th Ave and 39th Avenue in Hobart. Okay, we put out the 2,000. We didn't get a real good response as far as volunteers, so it took us about 4 hours to get them all done. So I'm hoping that people out there, can hear this, and I put stuff out on various other places and stuff like that, hoping that people come out and help us, because this one here is like the heart of it too, because as they pick the flags up and stuff, and we get them up front, then we got to go through them, and we got to see which ones are good, which ones are bad. The good ones we wrap in sets of 12 and rubber band them, and then we see what we have for the following year, and then we need to know if we have to order anything. So if anybody has a couple hours to spare tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, please join us at the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery, 3815 West 39th Ave in Hobart, Indiana, starting at 8 a.m. Okay, we greatly appreciate any and all eager, willing hands. Okay, all right?
All right, Joe.
Yeah, appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks
Joe.
for all you do out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of work putting all those flags up.
Yes,
you gotta
it
take
is.
them down, too.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. So, and I think that with these vaccines, I'm glad that they're finally reinstating these service members back into the military.
Yeah, there was quite a few in at least where I was at that decided that they're just going to get out.
Yeah.
And honestly, most of them are not getting back in.
Maybe they don't want to.
It's been some time at this point,
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've moved on with their lives. So
I think if I've been out for 5 years, I don't know that I don't know. I don't know if I would want to go back in or not.
Well, they extended the age to 42 now.
Yeah.
So, and then that's just for like primary enlistment. That's not even for re-enlistment, So I don't know. I mean, even a lot of, I'm in that age group now. Like I'm 39, I turned 40 in, 6 months. And a lot of the people that are in my age group that I went to high school with are now considering it.
Really?
Because they see me, they see my success, and they see like the benefits that I've, and they're like, oh, maybe I would even do it. I'm like, well, yeah, you still got a couple years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine being a private at 40.
Yeah. That's 100%
hard.
true. That's the tough part.
That would be very, I mean, it was hard at 18.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Oh, no way could I do it at 40.
I've seen people get back in their 50s and get, what's his name? Tom Clark got in late in his life. Yeah, the museum director over there. Yeah, he got in late in his life and then deployed.
Wow.
So, people do it, and it's just a benefit for life, really.
Yeah. Well, I know. It's just being in that physical shape, and boot camp at 40 is a lot different than when you're 18.
Yeah.
And
I probably could use a boot camp right now.
Oh, I know I could. And then you have those people who are like, yeah, I just tell that drill instructor to kiss my, and
oh yeah, right.
if he got in my face, I'd just punch him in the face. Yeah, sure you would.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you'll get knocked out.
Yeah, absolutely you would. So, it's funny. Oh yeah, I almost joined. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, the almost joins.
Almost joins. Yeah.
But I had asthma.
Yeah.
But I had
I had bone
flat
spurs.
feet. I get the flat feet. Yeah. Bone spurs.
Yeah.
I get a lot of those, and everybody's heard it. And it's always kind of like a backhanded thing.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
right.
oh, thanks for your service. Appreciate what you know. I was going to be a Marine.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You can't just was going to be a Marine.
Right.
Like, Marines that is not something just people just lollygag into.
Right.
Oh,
right.
well, maybe they do. But then they realize,
oh, crap.
Yeah. I was going to be's.
Did this happen to you? Like when in your first few days of boot camp, you're like, what the heck did I get myself into?
Because at that moment, you feel like this is never going to end.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is like my life now.
Yeah.
And it's not really, it's hard to think
it was
anywhere past that.
No, and I used to
people say it gets better.
It does after boot camp.
Yeah, but you don't like in boot camp. You're like, no way. This is the Army. This is military or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the Marines.
And you think that the military is going to be like that after you get out of boot camp
and you get to
too.
your unit and people are just Joe Schmoing around.
Yeah,
and you're
like what happened? And it's like when I was in boot camp, I would have dreams that I woke up in my own bed. And that was freaky. That is freaky. But then my first night home after boot camp, I'm sleeping in my bed, and the sun comes up, and the sun is up. Man, I jumped up out of that bed like I was back in boot camp, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
I'm not there anymore.
Thank goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just the culture shock. Unless you've been through it, I don't think people can really understand what that's like.
No, it's complete mind change. Completely. It was hard to even watch TV and stuff when you got home. It's just weird.
You had no idea what was going on in the world because you weren't.
You just disconnected.
Yeah. You had no idea, and you had no idea what was going on with your friends. And you're so different when you come back. I think you're more of an adult. Something in you changes. When you go through that.
Oh, sure.
And and I don't know. My friends were like, "Oh, come wear your uniform." Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
And I was like. Yeah. I went to a frat party with one of my friends and I told her, I said, don't tell anybody that this was after I came home on leave after I'd been in for a while. And I said, don't tell anybody I'm in the military. She says, why? Aren't you proud? I said, yes, I am. But I don't want that to define my whole evening.
Right.
You know, I'm a
Yeah.
regular person
Yeah.
too, you know. The first thing she did, oh, this is my friend Donna from high school. She's a Marine. Oh, crap. So
Yeah,
it
of
was,
course.
you know, and then that whole evening.
What's it like?
What's it like? You
What do you do?
know,
What'd
what do you
you
do
do?
all day? And,
Have you killed people?
yeah,
You know,
exactly. What's it like to kill people? You know.
Yeah. No, that's just the cliche of it. But
Yeah.
so, yeah, good thing that the U.S. military is allowing those troops from, what seems like so many years ago now from COVID to get re-enlisted, come back in, and get even back pay opportunities. Again, there was a lot of people that resigned, and now I'm sure they're looking back and saying, you know, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, they made the right decision for them, and you know, that's what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So, in other world news, of course, the U.S. and Iran still need to work out several sticking points before an agreement on the war can be reached.
Yeah.
I've noticed, you know, obviously some of the gas prices coming down. I think things have settled a little bit. There's still some sting points in the Strait of Hormuz at the time, but there's a lot of free flow of commodities right now, and mainly because of the military posture that we've presented in that area, and in somewhat choking out Iran's economy by not allowing their oil to be distributed. And at some point, when it gets to really the meeting table, the timeline, I would say, is in the next couple weeks, that based off of my research, Iran's oil reserve will be full. Okay?
Yes.
And so, excuse me. So the point to having a full oil reserve, how many problems that can lead to. Okay, so you can't just stop pumping oil, right? Because in those old, ancient, you know, fossil fuel oil wells, they essentially are pressurized underneath, and that's what helps pump it to the top. And when you stop the pump, you could lose that well forever. Yeah. Because then the pressure is done. It has to be a consistent flow until it's completely drained.
It's not like you can just turn the button off and then turn it back on.
Right. And so, but when Iran has nowhere to store it because they're
running out of room,
right?
Yeah.
Then now they're looking at long-term effects on their individual economy, their ability to supply China, their ability to supply some of the European Union and and Russia. And so I think we're at a super close clinch point here where I think also we've been a little bit led to believe that there is no leadership in Iran, that he's wiped them all out, that their, you know, third levels are gone. Yeah. And yet somehow they still have a seat at the table and are actually negotiating and actually creating enough chaos to where it's a concern for us to spend millions and millions of dollars to put the Navy as a wall.
Right. Well, they just got caught trying to remine the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah. And that's a constant battle. So we've got these autonomous submarines now that are tracking that, and just the resources and the money that we're spending to push this a couple more weeks to where they are forced to say, like, we will no longer pursue nuclear power. Yeah,
but they've said that before.
Yeah. I mean, and
when you speak about the mines and that they were remining, how long ago did that order come out? You know, because they don't have direct communication. Like, they can't just pick up the phone and call the guys on the waterfront and say, hey, put mines in the water. You know, they have to send it by Pony Express, basically. So, you know, how long ago did that order come out? You know, was it weeks ago, months ago? I don't know. But I think, you know, part of it, I mean, this has been a boon for Russia, if you think about it, because the Europe has been having to buy their oil and their gas and stuff from Russia. So Russia's been making money hands over fist. Yeah. And if we settle with Iran, that money for Russia goes away. Right. You know, so, which I think would be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a rob Peter to pay Paul type thing. Yeah. And I know in the last couple of years with the Ukraine sanction, because of the Ukraine conflict, the sanctions on Russia's oil, and Russia at one point was providing like 1/3 of the world's oil So bouncing from one bad guy to the other to utilize their natural resources. I just am curious to see how long this really lasts with Iran. I think that the economy is starting to feel the downturn of it, and the window's getting tighter and tighter. Of course, short-term inflation's peaked up to close to 4%, 3.8, 3.9%, which will, essentially correlate to what the Fed's decision was last month to do nothing with the rates. But now we have a new chair in office and a new Fed chair, which he has a different perspective on the future of what he wants to do with the rate as well as the previous chair. Now, that all really is mentioned because this short-term inflation is because we were paying so much at the gas pump. Now, things have come down. I've seen $3.30.
Well, I think part of the reason in our state anyway, why the gas pump prices are down is because the governor has suspended the excise tax and the income tax on gas.
Yeah, he did it for another month.
Right, he can only do the state income tax for I think you can do each one for 30 days at a time according to our laws. But my thing is if you can do that, okay, here's my thing. Let's do that for the rest of the year. 30 days at a time, that's fine. We'll do that for the rest of the year, and if nobody notices it, then why do we need it? Why do we need those taxes? If nothing changes, then maybe we don't even need those taxes anyway.
Yeah. Well, there's certain things like, obviously that would have to be probably in legislation and voted upon.
Oh, yeah.
But, I agree. Like, there's certain things when we're sitting at a surplus as a state,
right,
which very few states have surplus.
Right.
Then that's an opportunity, I think, to do different things, right?
Yeah.
And to open up other windows of opportunity. Now, I somebody that's probably more educated on it than me is like those gas taxes. Like, what do those directly fund? Right? Is that funding roads? Is that
it's
I don't
supposed
know,
to, but not all the money goes for roads.
Sure.
Yeah,
of course.
It goes for parks. It goes for bike trails, which is somebody on WJOB's favorite topic.
Yeah.
But
well, so as far as the strait, 1/5 of the world's liquefied natural gas and oil normally pass through that strait.
Right. Well, Japan just signed a contract with the United States to get their liquefied natural gas from Alaska.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they'll be shipping it right from Alaska to
shipping it, not like a pipeline or anything.
No.
Okay, that's
they'll
awesome.
be shipping it from Alaska right to Japan, so they don't have to go through any dangerous waters.
Yeah.
So that's a big boom for us.
Of course.
I don't know how long that contract is, and a lot of companies. There's a lot more ships pulling into Texas and Louisiana now to get their oil from us.
Yeah, and there's that river that connects the Atlantic and Pacific that goes through the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
they're booming.
Yeah, of course. And we had rights to that for like 100 years because we helped really establish that. But I think recently in the last 20 years that has transitioned back to the local country.
I think Carter gave it back to them back in the 70s.
Oh, was it back in the 70s? Yeah. Okay.
So I guess we owned it.
Leased it
or something until the 70s, and then that went back to Panama. We had
some major benefit to it because we really helped with the engineering and getting it all fixed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these choke points around the world, from what I've read, that there's like about 7 different choke points that are huge world economic movement logistical hubs. And the point is, like, when Iran says we are going to seal off these international waters, basically like claiming it as theirs, and it affects the entire world. Like, we don't want that to become a pattern around the world, and these other choke points or these other militias see it as an opportunity to mess with the world economy.
Oh, absolutely.
Where I guess in even the most recent conflict over here that we're talking about in the Strait, it seems like the U.S. was the only one willing to do anything about it. But I don't know if it's because we kind of started it, or if they started it. and then we were just there in the conflict already with the presence.
Yeah.
But let's say something happened in the Mediterranean where there was a choke point, maybe one of these, more extremist countries, let's say Russia wanted to stop some movement from the Mediterranean Sea, and that affects all of Europe and all the rest of the world. Like, who's going to step in?
Yeah,
Is it have to be us every time? Is this pattern going to lead to other patterns of, hey, you know what? The way that we fight back now is not just messing with America or fighting with bullets, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's we're going to crash the world economy and cost people billions. And you know as well as I do that money talks.
Mm-hmm.
And if these politicians that make the decisions on going to war or are going into a conflict have their super PAC CEOs telling them, hey, this little conflict that these Houthis or Iran is costing us billions, then people are going to start voting.
Yeah.
know?
Well, there's a really good book written by Marine Corps General Smedley D. Butler called War is a Racket. It's a very thin book, but it's very interesting because he is also the same general that the big bankers and these big business people tried to get him to overthrow FDR. And he went along with it, playing that he was going to go along with it. And he went along and went along and went along, went to all these meetings and did all this stuff and made him think that he was with them. But then he turned them in. And you know who went to jail? Nobody. Nobody. And he wrote his book, and he said he learned that wars are for money. It's all about money.
Oh, yeah.
Of
course.
And his book is very interesting. It opened my eyes. And one of the first books I read that really opened my eyes to what's going on and what goes on at the higher levels than what we are.
Sure.
But it's always been about the money and about who can make the most money. And, a lot of times our country plays both sides. We supported Hitler at one time. Time magazine in was it 38 or 37 made Hitler Man of the Year.
Wow.
So so it's funny how that stuff can change on a dime.
Oh, of course.
You say the wrong thing or support the wrong person, or you don't fall in line with the right businesses, then you're the bad guy.
Right.
And I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy by any stretch.
Oh, no. None of that taken. I will say that hopefully this memorandum of understanding that they're at the table with Iran right now continues to be pushed forward. And to my point earlier, I think that we've got a couple more weeks of this to where Iran really has to yield.
Yeah.
They start losing their wells, and they've got decades of negative economy for sure.
But the one thing I don't want to see is we're doing all this. I don't want to see the same people in charge of Iran.
Yeah.
Because then what's the point?
Interesting how it seems like they're still got such a strong leadership role at the table?
Yeah. Why aren't they negotiating with the Shah? He was the one who wants to come in and get a democratic government going that is elected by the people.
Yeah.
Why ain't they negotiating with him? Because women in Iran are still bought and sold. They're still marrying 8-year-olds over there. Women are not allowed to leave the house. They're not allowed to be unescorted. They have to cover their whole body. They're not allowed to go to school. They're not allowed to have an independent thought. Until that change, if we don't change that, we're right back where we started. It's going to be, 10 or 20 years from now, and everybody forgets about what's happening today. And then we're going to be right back where we are right now.
Yeah. Well, as you had mentioned on the shows previously, this is 25, 30 years, 40 years of history of them pop-shotting at us or our military or, causing serious, significant damage in some cases. And then
they've killed a lot of Americans.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense to kind of just be at the negotiation table with what seems to be controversially of what's being told to us in the media. Because what the media is telling us is that they've taken out leadership at the third level.
Yeah.
But what is being reported is that they're at the table
Yeah.
with still yet the first son of the,
Of the of
Ayatollah,
Khomeini,
right.
Yeah.
So like,
why?
That's not third level.
No.
If it's his son,
Right.
Right. That's second level.
Right.
So what happened to that?
Yeah.
What happened to taking out all these different levels?
Why are we going to allow the same regime? It's going to be the same thing. They're going to get all this money. They're going to go right back and give it to Hamas and Hezbollah.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go right back to doing terrorist attacks against Americans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're going to feed the Houthis in Yemen. They're going to feed.
Yeah. It's going to go right back to business as usual.
Feed Syria. They're going to feed all this.
And in 20 years, we're going to be right back to them having nuclear weapons. And another president in 20 years is going to say, "Oh, we got to stop them."
Yeah.
I mean, this seems to be the thing we
Perpetual.
keep doing all the time. And,
Right.
and I believe it was Einstein who said, you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity.
Yeah.
I
tried telling my wife that once.
How'd that go? No.
She didn't like it.
No. All right. Again, if you want to call in, talk about these issues, it's 219-845. 1100.
Yeah, and so we started a little bit late today. We're going to be ending it because I've got other obligations, but we'll push it off here. If anybody wants to call and add some last words, any events that you got going on out there. Next week, of course, we'll hit it at 0900. Be prepared. We'll have a lot of resources for you, so make sure you tune in next week.
Hopefully our guests won't cancel on us again.
Yeah, we had a commander of a local military association to actually a nationwide military association, a large commander that was set to be here today, and he's not. So, but we won't announce that officially because we want to have them back on the show. So that kind of threw us for a little bit of a loop. But hey, you know what? We got to continue mission, and we're here every single week. Get the information out. We got a couple of our sponsors we're going to finish to read through.
Yep, we got one caller though.
Okay,
go ahead, caller. You're on Veterans Views.
Hi, this is Colonel Jones from the DAV 17.
Hey, Colonel.
And I just want to, I just thank you all for being out there always and sharing. And I wanted to say one thing. I know that Commander Steve Bramer is not there, but we're having our women's conference.
Yes.
And so just looking forward to that.
Yeah,
just
June 28th.
So forward to that. Yes, and I wanted to put a shout out for the home of the Trailblazers. I'm not one to gossip, but they are providing 100 baskets for the women, free baskets.
Wow.
Nice.
So
That's
all
wonderful.
women veterans, come out there. And thank you all, Veteran Views, for what you do for us, sharing all this wonderful information and helping us to really think about things.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Colonel. And I don't think everybody realizes what you do for all our veterans out there.
You're
So thank
always out
you.
there.
You're always out there.
Getting after it.
Oh, well, I'm on my way back to California. There's a spouse of a World War II veteran.
Oh.
They don't have children. She was involved and impacted by those Eaton Canyon fires.
Oh, no.
So I go back every year on my own dollar with all the love from all my fellow comrades, helping her in this tragedy.
Wow.
So, veterans
you.
helping veterans always.
Roger that.
That's right.
Take care.
Roger that.
Yeah.
You too, Colonel.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Colonel.
Wow. Bless you, Colonel, for everything you do for veterans throughout the country.
Yeah. We were at the Veterans Roundtable a couple weeks ago, and Kelly Bridges announced her as the highest ranking here.
Yeah.
Said, okay, all right, Colonel.
Yeah.
A salute. I get a salute.
Well, how does that go? Warrant officers aren't higher than...
No,
Oh,
no, they're
officers, are they?
well, we're both commissioned, but warrant officers in the Army are commissioned by the SecDef or the Secretary of War.
Yeah.
And the commission officers are commissioned by the president.
Oh, okay.
So we outrank all non-commissioned officers like
Yeah.
NCO, sergeant
Yeah.
majors, whatever. But we are more advisors to the O-grade officers.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
of course, mentors to the lower
Yeah.
O-grade officers.
Well, I know when I got when I got promoted to E6 and my promotion certificate came from Congress, I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah. Once you get E6, E7, E7 in the U.S. Army, but once you get to that level and it's an act of Congress to take your rank away, it feels pretty good. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, right. Well, okay. All right, so let's go over a couple more of our generous sponsors here. We have the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 721. They meet the second Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock at 5820 Holman Avenue in Hammond. We have Family Dental Care. Veterans receive free exams, x-rays, cleaning, and a 10% discount. Their closest one to us here in Northwest Indiana is in Griffith. If you want to go and find the one nearest you, you can go to their website at familydentalcare.com. And they're really good there. They're very kind, and they do as minimal pain. I've been there, had a lot of dental work done, and they are almost pain-free.
Nice.
Ron J. Pressmer Insurance Company for all your insurance needs, auto, home, life, health, business, and more. 219-844-0103. Kuziak Construction. 1235 Summer Street in Hammond, 219-923-3007. We have Heroes Helping Heroes in Northwest Indiana. You can reach them at heroeshelpingheroesin.com. You can contact their founder, Rich Tokars, who does amazing things for veterans, at 219-670-2501. We have White Oak Home Care, 9800 Connecticut Drive, Crown Point. You can reach them at 219-999-5869 or whiteoakhomecare.com. And as always, if you are struggling, if you need help, you can always reach out at 9881. You can talk to a veteran. That's the Suicide Crisis Lifeline. They are available 24/7, 365. Please reach out and get help, or you can call us here at
219-845
1100.
That's right.
If we can't help you, we will put you in contact with somebody who can. So please reach out. Life is always better with you in it.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, we're here for you every week. It's 0900 WJOB, 1230 AM, 1047 FM, and we are proud to be a long-standing volunteer force here representing the U.S. military, veterans, and citizen soldiers out there, putting out the good information to make sure that you're aware of what's going on locally as well as nationally with current military operations and current support groups and veterans organizations. So,
yep.
Of course, Hammond Victory Post 168 is founder of the show.
Yep.
So we get a shout out to them. And we just appreciate being here every week. I will say that it is an honor, and we are looking forward to it every Friday morning at 0900. Tune in.
Yes, I do. Also, we have the North Township Veterans Roundtable. Their 4th annual golf outing is coming up on June 13th. It's open to the public. If you would like to participate, or if you want to sponsor a hole, you can call 219-313-3934 for information on that. And what else I got here? Oh, that's the same thing. Oh, after July 4th, don't forget, all of us Indiana veterans who are service connected, whether you're at 10% up to 100%, you have to go refile at the county courthouse for your property tax adjustment. Mm-hmm. Even if you've already got your paperwork on file, you have to do it again.
Yeah.
And if you're 100%, that means you pay no property taxes. So you have to go to the county VSO. He will make sure you take your letter with you that shows how much what your disability rate is, and he will certify that. Without that, you cannot get your property taxes adjusted.
Very good.
So make sure you do that after July 4th. And also tomorrow, don't forget, at Evergreen Funeral or Evergreen Cemetery in Hobart at 0800, they are picking up the flags off of all the veterans' graves. It is tomorrow at 0800 at 3815 West 39th Street or 39th Avenue. So if you are available, please see if you can help them out.
Yeah, and that's all we got for you today.
I think that's all we got for today.
All right. Appreciate you all signing in, and come see us again next week, and we'll go from here.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, if you follow us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like our videos.
That's right. God bless America.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Good night, Chesty, wherever you are.